following documentary is a rebuttal aimed at dispelling the false accusations and criminal charges brought against El Sheikh Said Mubarak Ali Shah Gilani and the International Quranic Open University. This false propaganda was spread through print and electronic media, including the recent documentary which aired on HBO titled The Journalist and the Jihadi. This documentary was based on the books A Mighty Heart, written by Marianne van Nijenhoff, and Who Killed Daniel Pearl, written by Bernard Henry Levy. When these books were released, the President of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, General Pervez Musharraf, labeled them the work of the enemy camp, as their pages are filled with baseless accusations intended to demonize Sheikh Gilani, his organizations, and the government and people of Pakistan.
I had an opportunity to sit on an interview with Sheikh Gilani. Within 15 minutes within the interview, our feelings were that Sheikh Gilani was not involved in this. Sheikh Gilani was not involved in this. Sheikh Gilani was not involved in this.
His name is Sheikh Mubarak Gilani, a mysterious figure out of the world of Islam. He is said to be a direct descendant of the Prophet Muhammad. The Sheikh has thousands of disciples who live right here in the United States.
I do what I think is best for the people who follow me. First is peace, and others, they should work hard for their living, and they should be honest, good, trustworthy.
Who is Sheikh Gilani? Who is Sheikh Gilani? The revival of the deen is Sheikh Gilani. Sheikh Gilani. Who is Sheikh Gilani? Who is Sheikh Gilani? He's alive from Allah. Sheikh Gilani. Sheikh Gilani. Who is Sheikh Gilani? Who is Sheikh Gilani? The revival of the deen is Sheikh Gilani. Sheikh Gilani. Who is Sheikh Gilani? Who is Sheikh Gilani? He's alive from Allah. Sheikh Gilani. Sheikh Gilani. Who is Sheikh Gilani? Who is Sheikh Gilani? The revival of the deen is Sheikh Gilani. Sheikh Gilani. Who is Sheikh Gilani? Who is Sheikh Gilani? He's alive from Allah. Sheikh Gilani. Sheikh Gilani. Who is Sheikh Gilani? Who is Sheikh Gilani? The revival of the deen is Sheikh Gilani. Sheikh Gilani. Who is Sheikh Gilani? Who is Sheikh Gilani? He's alive from Allah. Sheikh Gilani. Sheikh Gilani. Who is Sheikh Gilani? Who is Sheikh Gilani? The revival of the deen is Sheikh Gilani. Sheikh Gilani. Who is Sheikh Gilani? Who is Sheikh Gilani? He's alive from Allah. Sheikh Gilani. Sheikh Gilani. Who is Sheikh Gilani? Who is Sheikh Gilani? The revival of the deen is Sheikh Gilani. Sheikh Gilani.
I warn the Muslims in America, remain peaceful and don't ever be incited, because this is what they had been doing in Illuminati. Form a better understanding with them, with your other communities, and remain peaceful, and don't ever think of doing anything wrong against your own people and country.
This is the Sheikh that Daniel Pearl was trying to interview. And everything about him, everything he said, seemed at odds with what we expected, including his next answer.
It does seem the concern is whether you have all of these militant Muslims in America operating as essentially sleeper cells, ready to surface at a given moment to carry out a horrible act of destruction.
Why? Give me one reason. In America, the Muslims are better than any part of the world.
The American Muslims.
Yes. They have more freedom, they have more facilities of life. Where they will go? Okay, they do something wrong in America, where they will go? I don't want them, that's their country. The American Muslims are better off in America than anywhere else, and they will never do anything wrong against their country. That is my directive through you. and to them. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Well, I have a very important task before me, and I have to bring to notice certain very, very important things before world at large regarding ongoing, lies and falsification of facts by Zionist media and their people. Perhaps you remember this Daniel Pearl case. I was involved into that. Up till today, I do not know how. How I never knew this man, nor he ever met me, nor he ever approached me. I was attending to my dying father, who was, a very important person in the history of this creation of Pakistan. Later on, I left and went to in the Kagan Valley, the Himalayan beginning, to build a model Islamic cadet school. There I was, along with my family members, started the process. I never knew. One day suddenly I find a newspaper and I find out that the police were looking for me in Karachi, that I have abducted an American, a a journalist. I got shock of my life. What is this? I simply couldn't understand this. Look, I had never, in my whole entire life, I'd never been to Karachi except on my way to going to other countries, like England or America. I would stop over there. I do not know anybody in Karachi. I had no follower. And suddenly I find out that somebody has been playing tricks on me, using my name, and committed that conspiracy. I gave an interview. It was well received in the Western world. I gave the facts people came to know. So much so that I myself went to the authorities and presented myself, went to Karachi and put myself before the investigation team. So in this, I say in the first instance when this allegation was brought against me, the Supreme Court, the High Court of this country, they gave an order that I was innocent, why I was being detained. So I had immediately to be released and I came back. In the same DVD, the video film movie, which is being made, had been made, they show FBI agents, and they say, the one lady, FBI lady says, that when we interviewed Sheikh Jilani, we found out that he was innocent and he got nothing to do with Daniel Pearl case. Such and such, so and so, Sayyid Parvez Musharraf Shah Sahib, who wrote in the line of fire his book. Even in his book he states that I had nothing to do with this whole case. On the contrary, since somebody was abusing my name, I tried to find out myself who that person could be. In that, I really, did my best along with authorities to find out. And I was able to give them some clue, but without giving the name because I didn't know the name of the person. So this book, A Mighty Heart, had come. This woman, before writing the book, she knew that I had nothing to do with Daniel Pearl. In no way. But it seemed that there is some craze, some mania has gone. Something wrong somewhere. I mean, she says that Daniel Pearl came. He was an Israeli agent, and on his own he goes to Karachi, and he shows that there is a lane where hawala, people send money without banks, and they think that I must have sent money to the people who were planning against 9/11. Well, then he shows one madrasa in Karachi. He says there is one madrasa which belongs to me. Then they show Khalid Khaja say he is my disciple. Well, Khalid Khaja, like millions of other people, many people, they give utmost respect to descendants of Holy Last Messenger. He is one of those. He shows me a lot of respect, but he is follower of Maududi. He is not my disciple. And then, as I said, okay, if this man has found where the madrasa, why don't they go for a Muslim to establish madrasa as a matter of honor? Why should I feel ashamed to hide myself? Well, if I had been able to make a madrasa in Karachi, I would be very happy. But I said, I've never been to Karachi except on my way abroad. Now, why should I say, take interest in 9/11? I did take interest in 9/11. The tragedy struck. I said tragedy. Remember, I am a Sufi and my followers and who they are, not every student of International Quranic Open University at Islamabad, New York is a Sufi, but those who follow the Sufi way, the first thing which is taught to them, that remember that these mankind is kunba, as family of God, family of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what we teach them. We follow law. There is no law anywhere in any book. All the books have been changed. We follow law which forbids Muslims to kill innocent people, men, women, and children. It disallows indiscriminate killing, which disallows, forbids suicide. I mean, how could a Muslim will do all these things which are, they're attributed to in the 9/11? Okay, when 9/11 happened, I was shocked. Immediately I called. I was in Pakistan. I called America. I told them, Muslim Scouts of the Quranic University must go at once and help. I also knew they were Muslim as well. So they went. You will see. They went. And they were shocked to find out that 4,000 Jews were working. They were working in the World Trade Center were missing that day when the tragedy struck.
On the day of the attack, a couple in Jersey City, New Jersey, reported that they saw a group of men on top of an adjoining building filming the first jet hit the North Tower and cheering. They assumed that these men were Arab terrorists and called the police. The police caught these men, but they were not Arabs. They were Israelis, here in the United States without legal permits. They worked for a moving company that, according to Forward Magazine, a local Jewish publication, has possible ties with the Mossad. Who were these men who had prior knowledge? Why was this story suppressed? And why did our government allow them to return to Israel?
They were shocked to find out. Rest, if I say anything, may not be taken. I would definitely like the concerned U.S. patriotic citizens come forward to tell you and me and everybody who are the culprits. Like he is trying to, that man, Daniel, I don't know who this, I'm myself a founding editor-in-chief of Islamic Post. I'm a journalist. I would have welcomed any journalist to come to me. I mean, why should I? But after when I came back from Karachi, the first man I saw was George Cryle, and he lived in my house for 3 days with my family. With this, I say, let those people tell you who are the enemies. Are the Muslims or enemy of America? Or is this barbarian inside the gate? The Colonel Don de Grand Prix will tell you who are the enemies. The Muslims or the Illuminati? No, let the American tell you who is destroying American people and robbing America of their rights, of their wealth, of their military might in order to, destroy the enemy. This is a tragedy. Muslims and Christians are suffering. The world is suffering. Now let us see what concerned you citizens have to say. Wait and see.
My friends, we are at war and have been unceasingly since 1933. The major problem is that we don't realize it. We have become so accustomed to being under siege by the enemy within that we don't realize that we are in fact in a war to the death. And we are losing, not only the war, but our country. We must now define that enemy within, his history, his tactics, and his techniques, chief among them being mass manipulation, coupled to physical and psychological acts of terror. The enemy within now dominates 6 of the 7 M's: money, media, markets, medical, mind, and morals. He desperately needs the 7th M, muscle, embodied in our military and its primary function to defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That muscle has slowly and systematically been sabotaged by thrusting the military into UN wars of attrition, no-win wars of both psychological and physical defeat, as planned by that amorphous group of self-aggrandizing and self-promoting one-worlders who are slowly strangling us and our freedom with the binding chains of a despotic world government, and who have done so steadily since the assassination of President McKinley in 1901 by one of Emma Goldman's Eastern European immigrants. Thus began what many knowledgeable historians call the Jewish century.
Zionists are those, they were promised Holy Land. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised them, and He gave them deliverance from Pharaoh. When they got deliverance from Pharaoh, they settled down. Then Musa alayhi salam, they called Moses, Allah, this peace and mercy be upon him, he said, you will have to fight to gain control of the holy promised land. And they are Canaanites, no? Canaanites. And then he made 12 people, a committee of 12 elders, which is still there, They went and they saw those people 10 feet tall, 11 feet tall, very strong. They ran away. They said, oh Musa, you and your God go and fight and throw them out, then we'll come. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pushed them out of the place. Go in desert Sinai for 40 years till that generation dies. What happened? They would travel in the morning, in the evening they will come to the same place. Then Allah forgave them. They were forgiven. But what they did? They murdered Messenger Zachariah. They tortured Armia, which they called Jeremiah. What they didn't do against the messenger, they murdered them. So many they murdered. Then Allah sent a wrath against them, And an emperor, Cyrus, if I'm not mistaken, he came and he overpowered them, and he destroyed everything, destroyed Jerusalem, the temple, and made slaves. For 70 years or so they were slaves, And that is, then the king of Babel came and rescued them. It's a long story, but that is, they were banished forever. Allah said, forever you shall keep on roaming, and you will have no homeland. You will only live under protection of others. And up to today, they have no state of their own. You can't call Israel as their, how can you call? That is Palestine. If you go and forcefully occupy somebody's home and put your name plate, people say, well, this is not his home. He is forcefully, illegally occupied. Again, paranoid thinking. They think it's all right. Nobody thinks it's all right. Nor it will ever be all right. Muslims and Christians must join hands together. They must know that there's nothing, no cause they have to hate each other. The only thing which was brought against them, introduced by these people, was cross, the pagan cross. Jesus never brought that. Jesus was a man, Allah raised him as his spirit, as his word. So this is their history. I can't go beyond that, but you should know that they are not Jews. These Illuminatis are not Jews. They don't follow Torah. They call themselves Jews. They don't follow Torah. They were the rebels. Therefore, see this, save yourself. Don't kill each other. Muslims should not kill each other on account of this, sectarian issue or violence. Nor Muslims should fight Christian. All for don't kill each other. Under no circumstances. Otherwise, you will be left. Though you won't, any trace of you be left. See, no human being will ever do such thing. Such horrendous, cruel killing. You shut 700 people in the container sun and they die. Human being can't do that. It is Satan, their God, will tell them to do that thing. And Satan has no mercy. He is opposite of mercy. So I don't care about this riffraff who from where he came, this Daniel Pearl. What about those people? See these things, open your heart, open your eyes, and save yourself, save your country. Whether you're Muslim or Christian, don't kill each other. There's no reason and there's no purpose. By killing, you do not achieve anything. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
Hello, I'm Alex Jones, and I'm a radio and television host based in Austin, Texas. And for many years, I've been exposing the criminal activities of the global elite, also known as the New World Order.
Our story begins in Northern California over 100 years ago, when locals began to spread rumors of bizarre occult rituals being conducted in the ancient redwood groves of Sonoma County. As the decades passed, it became clear these incredible stories had a basis in truth, and their source was a 2,700-acre private club known as the Bohemian Grove. Our source worked at the Grove in the summer of 2004 and the summer of 2005, and he was able to obtain 2 program covers for the cremation of care ceremony, as well as a 2005 membership list, which reads like a who's who of U.S. and European elite. Former President Jimmy Carter, former President George Herbert Walker Bush, President Bush, Henry Kissinger, George Shultz, the list goes on and on. This is a video still of the sign at the entrance to the path to the Hillbilly Club where President Bush stays. Look at that happy little devil with his forked tail dancing and smiling and those sharp little teeth. Oh, it's so Christian. But again, President Bush had such a Christian name in Skull and Bones, Magog, or Satan's war leader. The Grove's own internal annals brag that the Manhattan Project, or the plan to create the A-bomb, was hatched inside this building, known as the Chalet. The Strategic Defense Initiative, better known as Star Wars, was also the brainchild of Grove members, and was born inside the Chalet. No, in their spare time, they worship Moloch and do mock human sacrifices. We just need to get used to that and accept them as our leaders. Think about it. If your neighbor was engaging in mock human sacrifices to Moloch, the demon idol that was worshipped all over the Mediterranean and the Middle East, would you let that neighbor walk your dog or house sit, or how about babysit your children, or be in control of the nuclear launch codes? Occultism in our society, and particularly in our government and at the highest levels of corporate America, is rampant. It is a well-publicized fact that the Reagans had every aspect of their lives governed by their astrologer. Imagine having your life controlled down to the exact minute that you give a speech by astrology. An ancient occult system that believed that the earth was the center of the universe. Eleanor Roosevelt admitted that she performed seances and tried to raise the dead at the White House. 60 years later, Hillary Clinton had her own seances attempting to contact Eleanor Roosevelt. Prime Minister Tony Blair and his wife practice the occult every morning. Tony Blair draws a circle and then conjures the spirit that he calls the light. He channels it and makes decisions according to what the spirit tells him. The Blairs' admitted occult activities are legion, and so was Adolf Hitler's well-known obsession with dark mysticism. Adolf Hitler belonged to the pre-Nazi death cult, the Thule Society, as well as the Thule Society. Both groups trace their lineage back to the Order of Death, founded in 1776 in Ingolstadt University in Bavaria, Germany. Then, of course, it spread to the U.S. with the founding of Skull and Bones.
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go wild.
I'm sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the web.
Number 322?
First of all, he's not the nominee. And, look, I look forward...
Are you prepared to lose?
No, I'm not going to lose.
You both were members of Skull and Bones, a secret society at Yale. What does that tell us?
Not much, because it's a secret.
Is there a secret handshake? Is there a secret code?
I wish there were something secret I could manifest.
322, a secret number?
There are all kinds of secrets, Tim, but one thing is not a secret. I disagree with this president's direction.
They seek to dumb down the population, not just to hoard their secret knowledge to make us even more mindless, more domesticated, like braying sheep to the slaughter. Their religion is the science of sophistry, the science of the con artist, the science of the despot, the dictator, the tyrant, the controller, the charlatan, the liar. They come to kill, steal, and destroy. They are parasites. They are anathema to free, dynamic human societies. Know your enemy. Stand up for love and life and family, and resist the New World Order and the Babylonian slave state our enemies are attempting to construct.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It gives me pleasure again to start this part of the I won't call it discourse, but narration on rebuttal, and also giving information to the world at large that why such thing happened. That Daniel Pearl case is not an isolated, it is part of a big network, that which is working and controlling the entire world. The hidden hands which destroyed World Trade Center but they could not cover their dirty marks. The entire world knows that it's a job of insiders. The American government so far has not been able to come with a single proof or evidence that it was a job of outsiders.
The Illuminati manufactures terror in order to declare a global crusade against Islam and all those who oppose the New World Order.
$19.99. NORAD begins conducting exercises in which hijacked airliners are flown into the World Trade Center and the Pentagon. June 2000. The Department of Justice releases a terrorism manual with the World Trade Center in crosshairs. September 2000. The Project for a New American Century, a neoconservative think tank whose members include Dick Cheney, Donald Rumsfeld, Jeb Bush, and Paul Wolfowitz, releases their report entitled Rebuilding America's Defenses. In it, they declare that the process of transformation, even if it brings revolutionary change, is likely to be a long one, absent some catastrophic and catalyzing event, like a new Pearl Harbor. October 24th, 2000. The Pentagon conducts the first of 2 training exercises called Moscow, which simulate a Boeing 757 crashing into the building. Charles Burlingame, an ex-Navy F-4 pilot who worked in the Pentagon, participates in this exercise before retiring to take a job at American Airlines, where, less than a year later, his Boeing 757 allegedly crashes into the building. And finally, why do satellite photos taken 4 days before 9/11 show a white marking on the front lawn, marking almost the exact trajectory of whatever hit the Pentagon 4 days later? And is it merely a coincidence that the Pentagon was hit in the only section that was renovated to withstand that very same kind of attack? And that Donald Rumsfeld was safe in his office on the opposite end of the building? If the government has nothing to hide, why are they so afraid to answer a few questions or release a few videos? So what about the hijackers? On September 14th, 2001, the Department of Justice released the names of the alleged 19 hijackers. But on September 23rd, the BBC reported that Walid al-Shehri was alive and well in Casablanca, Morocco. They also tracked down Abdulaziz al-Amari, who was an engineer with Saudi Telecom and lost his passport while studying in Denver. In the same article, FBI Director Robert Mueller admitted that the identity of several of the hijackers is in doubt. So how many hijackers turned up alive? At least 9 of them. Wael al-Shehri is alive and well. Mohand al-Shehri is alive in Saudi Arabia. Khaled al-Midar is a computer programmer in Mecca. Salem al-Hazmi works at a chemical plant in Yanbu, Saudi Arabia. Saeed al-Ghamdi is training to be a pilot in Tunis. Ahmed al-Nami is an administrative supervisor for Saudi Airlines. We already covered Walid and Abdulaziz. And last but not least, Mohammed Atta's father claimed to receive a phone call from his son on September 12th. On September 20th and 27th, Mueller admitted on CNN that there is no legal proof to prove the identities of the hijackers. Indeed, after all, not even the official autopsy for Flight 77 lists the hijackers. And the opening paragraph makes no mention of their absence.
The building number 7 was never hit by anything, it just collapsed. One aeroplane, they say, went and hit the Pentagon. What happened to the plane? What happened to the passengers? What happened to the wreckage? Nobody knows.
You know, it might have appeared that way, but from my close-up inspection, there's no evidence of a plane having crashed anywhere near the Pentagon. The only site is the actual side of the building that's crashed in, and as I said, the only pieces left that you can see are small enough that you could pick up in your hand. There are no large tail sections, wing sections, a fuselage, nothing like that anywhere around, which would indicate that the entire plane crashed into the side of the Pentagon.
So you see, when a person is paranoid, then in his paranoia, he or she thinks that whatever she thinks is all right. The world doesn't believe that. Same way, this man has been given so much importance, it's sickening even to mention his name. I mean, why give him so much importance? What about those 600 men, young men, who were stuffed in what you call the containers and left to die and suffocate in the sun by the occupying forces? What about them? Are they human beings? Why weep over and this picket issue again? No. Those people who had been able to, bring America to war against their enemy, Iraq, they thought if Iraq is not humiliated, it will going to attack Israel. So that's one reason. The American people are paying with the blood, with the money, with the military hardware, and they're dying for not for America, but for Israel. Similarly, they're making brother fight brother. Everywhere. This is their modus operandi. Who are these people? The world should know. The American people should know. You will be surprised, a bit amazed to hear, but I'm going to say that when 9/11 incident happened, even George Bush was not aware of that. He was not expecting. The insiders who did this job kept him absolutely out of the whole thing, so that he shouldn't know anything. This is observation. It could be wrong, but it must be the way. This man, a riffraff, he just comes on his own. The FBI is already investigating everything. We should have gone to them if we want some information. Then in the book which is here, the Lies After Life. There's another book in which he says that Umar Sheikh sent me an email, and the email is written here somewhere, written Shah Saab, S-A-A-B, S-H-A-H, then S-A-A-B. First of all, no Muslim will ever write spelling of Sahib, S-A-H-I-B, as Saab. It is always written by non-Muslims. Number one. Number two, they say that I told him to abduct a foreigner. Okay. Do you know that for 15 years I was vice president and president of Climbers Club Pakistan? Foreigners from all over the world came to me and they climbed because they call me mysterious person. Yes, I had servants who were not human beings. They used to serve me day and night. And also I used to do climbing, mountain trekking and meditating and doing zikr of Allah. Two people came with me. They followed me, German, Ulrich, and this missionary, Norman Norris. The front page of the newspaper Nueva that says 19,000 feet mountain peak of Mankal in Hindu Kush had been climbed. 2 mountaineers died. The third person was from American, John MacArthur. I hardly knew anything. He just came. I welcomed him. You want to climb the mountain? I said, okay, we'll help you. He said he's from Chicago Sun, some newspaper there, whatever the case may be. So he went up. He also took his one girl, Marion, from a Canadian, obviously his secretary. So they went up. I was the glacier, below the glacier. They went up. What happened? I told them, don't go. The mountains a bit too far. You cannot climb it one day from the upper camp. You need two. But they didn't agree anyway. All of them went up. They were caught in storm there. And eventually, they started coming down. I'm telling you for the first time. The Norman Norris, sometime in the and going very steep, keeping the girl in the middle. The Canadian girl had not gone with them. She was the tent at the base camp. Eventually, they realized, the American, John MacArthur, realized that somehow he just opened the rope, and disengaged himself from the rest of the two. He thought they are going to go down, and he didn't want to go with them. This is a statement which was given by Norman Norris, printed in the press against. The result was he slipped and he fell. And nobody knows. He went all the way inside. So this Norman Norris and the other girl, they kept coming down and down and down and down. Eventually the girl was too exhausted and she just collapsed. Norman Norris went into the tent and went in and never came out. I called for inquiry and I asked, why did not you bring the girl inside? He said, I left her out. I took her dead. I said, there was a possibility she was not dead. Why couldn't you bring her inside the tent? Oh, that is old German and British hatred, This is what came later on. But when I had come down to lower camp, the Canadian girl had come to me shouting that they had gone up, they haven't come back. I immediately called the Air Force headquarters, and to the extent the President of Pakistan, General Ayub Khan, was informed, and by morning an emergency was declared, helipads were made, helicopters came. I went up myself looking for John MacArthur. Myself. Till the time the helicopter wings was moving, but it couldn't stay. I risked my own life. Hundreds of people I engaged to, but couldn't find him. I found only the girl, put her in the helicopter, and brought her back to the German embassy in Islamabad. At that time, it was Rawalpindi. The racket goes on. I called for the inquiry. I could, because I was the head of the. And this missionary, Norman Norris, vanished from the scene. And we searched for him. After 15 days, he appears, and in between those times, I was told that if I could just do not say that MacArthur opened the rope, widow will be able to get few $1 million insurance, because if it establishes that he opened the rope, then it will amount to committing suicide. I say, I will not tell a lie. So they got hold of Norman Norris, the missionary, who told what actually happened. In the inquiry, he changed the statement. I looked at him. I said, you are missionary? Telling lie? Aren't you ashamed of yourself? General Potter was the CIA man at that time, and other people. They forced me. No, I don't want anything. I will not.
unadulterated Islam throughout the Americas. This impedes the success of the Zionist New World Order, as it depends on keeping the masses ignorant and under their control. Sheikh Gilani developed EGM, El-Gilani methodology, which is based on ancient Sufic sciences using Holy Quran to treat and cure all diseases, physical and mental, including so-called incurable diseases. Its foundation is based on the ayat from Holy Quran, which states that in Holy Quran there's a cure for every disease save death. The Illuminati target Sheikh Gilani in order to suppress the success of EGM, as it is a direct threat to the multi-billion-dollar industry of psychiatry, the ultimate betrayal and scourge against humanity. The irreparable damage caused by Western psychiatry is vast. Psychiatrists and the drug manufacturing industry depend on falsely diagnosing 90% of the population, keeping the masses from children to the elderly addicted to mind-altering drugs such as antidepressants, which cause psychosis and other mental disorders. The 22 Islamic villages in America, which have been founded by Sheikh Gilani, has been a source of upliftment and empowerment of the African American Muslims who were previously forced to live in crime-infested ghettos, dependent on welfare, living a life of immorality. Thousands of youth have been reformed and are now leading healthy, moral lifestyles. They are no longer degraded by dependence on the Zionist handouts. Thus, they have become free thinkers, self-sufficient, and are able to take their communities to the highest level of moral and social evolution. Misinformation, ignorance, and dependence on drugs are the tools of the Illuminati New World Order. Sheikh Gilani has successfully eradicated these from the American Muslim communities.
A bit of mystery I'm revealing. That has brought Islam in limelight in America, and that's why they sent Daniel Pearl to discredit me, to bring bad name against me that I'm abductor. They couldn't find any fault in me. They couldn't find. I don't drink. I don't go to other people's women. I don't gamble. You know, all these people in my, they are armed like them, a shelter, a shepherd. They're all lambs. So the mission of Daniel Pearl was to not only to assassinate me, but also by correct assassination. And now, who believes that he is dead? Nobody believes. The entire world, the way nobody believed the Trade Center was an outrage job, nobody believed that Daniel Pearl died. Thousands of articles, story, newspaper written. Here is one person. Here. This is Daily Pakistan correspondent, Hafiz Shafiq, and he wrote all that. He said, this man, if those abductors wanted to create terror, then they should have cut his neck, as they say, and sent a neck. Now one FBI man comes and hand over a video cassette in which they show he being, his head being cut and this thing. Anybody can do it in a video. Anybody, you are a, am I right? You can do that. Huh? You're a videographic expert. Can you show that? Yes, you can. I mean, they want us to believe the cock and bull story. And then 2 days after that, she gives interview to CNN. This happy-go widow, laughing, full makeup and jovial. People wonder, what sort of widow is she? I know, you all of you know, if somebody's dog is missing or dies, I think for how many days she will weep and cry. Am I right? Just dog. So they want us to believe that the man was killed. Then, surely they changed these things. So they couldn't find a clue. They get hold of KSM, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. And then that whole thing is printed here. I have all the file. Where are those? these things, that he confessed everything. People laugh at this whole thing. The American people laughed, you know, and I'm not going to give him so much importance, but I tell you, I say the mighty lie. One lie needs thousands and thousands of lies to cover it or to prove it. And truth itself proves its truthfulness. A truth, what's the truth? Which does not need any inner outer evidence. Truth itself proves its authenticity. This Khalid Sheikh was arrested in March 2003. According to the Plaza Bank's website, the organization was founded in early 2006, making it impossible for KSM to have even known of the bank's existence before 2003, never mind plotted against it. I mean, it's all, people should read how far, they do it. The effect of the Pearl murder and why the establishment would want to shut the lid on the whole affair by pinning the blame on KSM is interesting in the context that in September 2006, Pakistan President General Pervez Musharraf fingered Umar Sheikh as Pearl assassin, adding that he was an MI6 agent working for British intelligence. In the transcript of his alleged confession, KSM critically discusses CIA and Mossad involvement in the Pearl execution, but the text is heavily redacted. I mean, first of all, I am only saying that these things had happened before. These things will keep on happening. The world should know the time has come to take the lid off the real, hot pot. That is, who is the mastermind behind that? Who are the people? They are Illuminati who are, had enslaved the world, the Jewish world order called here the global, and that is, they worship Satan. They have Satan as their God. They have satanic rites. They have the dress and clothes, which I said, look here. They have to, all those who have to believe, we have to believe in globalism, mean Satanism. And you have to dress up like that. You have to grow a beard like this, parting the center, wear black clothes. Satanist's daughter, okay, show the whole Satanist's daughter to keep the faith. So that was her father, and she is carrying it on. But when you see youngsters with this small beard and generally black clothes and parting in the middle, it means they have accepted the Satan as their God, and they, some or other, they are involved in invoking Shaitan by sitting around the table holding each other's hand, and Shaitan does give reply. And then they are involved in sexual perversion and other activities. All these things are being done by the Jewish world order. At their headquarters is called Bohemian Grove in San Francisco, where all the heads of the member states come and join here and make the plan for enslaving and destroying and terrorizing the world, the countries, and eliminating ethnic cleansing and act of genocide for the world. They are the people who invented AIDS, hepatitis. They are the people who force people to take drops for polio, because that renders a person when he is adult incapable of producing children. This is their grove where they meet. This is one of their meetings. Human sacrifices are also done, and they meet here. This is a 2,700, acre grove. This is the place. This is the center where these people plan. So you will know these are people who are behind international terrorism. These are people who make brothers. These are the people who are shedding blood of innocent in Afghanistan, in Iraq, and everywhere, even the Americans. When I say Americans are also the slaves of these people, and the Pakistanis. And do you think George Bush is not even independent? He is not even independent. Same as all those who are, working for them. If they move right or left, they will go the same way that George F. Kennedy went. Mercy is the main ingredient in a human being. They worship Satan according to their own. I've shown it to you. So I floated Kashmiri American Friendship Society, and I helped. It is the beauty of the United Nations to, give right to the Kashmiri for self-determination. And instead of doing that, the United Nations started insurgency from both sides because they want to have this area. Then in this book, it is all lies. I cannot, keep on refuting one lie. I say they didn't spare their own messenger, Musa alayhi salam. He went up to the same mount, Tur, and they brought a lie against him by, making a calf and worshipping. They brought lie against Jesus and Mary. They brought lies against false against Holy Prophet. Who am I? This unholy crusade, a part of these, will never end till Jesus and Mary come. It is his duty, not my duty. But I have to tell that the world and the people that you must know your enemy. Your operation headquarters, which has enslaved the world, is in, which grove I've shown you. And the people who meet there, you know their names by now, it is in the list, what they do, and you have seen or must be showing you how they invoke Shaitan, the devil, by sitting on the table, and I put them a question, and Shaitan gives the answer and they implement it. I do not know whose agent people think I am, but I must tell you, I am agent of one Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Khalifa of Holy Last Messenger Sallallahu Muhammad and his son, family's son. I am not afraid of anybody. I've been sent to America with power, with a miracle, which are happening for the last 5-6 years, even up to today. Allah's name shining with divine light, name of Rasulullah Muhammad Sallallahu shining, all are visible to Muslims and non-Muslims, and it's being spread. Those are reminders. How can you solve this riddle? You say, it's a mysterious man of this thing. Well, there's so much, you will be confused if I tell you. You will be confused. You will not be able to believe because your level of intelligence is that's created and very, very limited. You know, you can't. As far as we are concerned, you have no intelligence. I can't say whatever. I mean, these are the liars, a worst type the world has seen. There is no end. Divide of mercy, anything. How could I will never do that to, I will never do that to even dog and cat and mouse, you know. The way they are killing their own people, getting the people own people killed. Few years ago, I would say 4 or 5 years ago, in the month of Shaban, a month before the month of fasting, which is the month of fasting called Ramadan, the fasting was made obligatory for Bani Israel and for onward all the time up to Jesus and Mary. They had to fast. So this goes on to a month before fast is called Shaban, and the middle of Shaban, the night is called night of predestination, Laylatul Barat or Shab-e Barat. In that, the whole following years, all the incidents, accidents, births, deaths are, recorded and handed over to the angels. And people do a lot of praying and supplication before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, seeking forgiveness. I was in Pakistan here. There were 150 people at how the shrine came into existence at Islamville in South Carolina. They sent me a message. Please send us some dua which we should be able to read on 15th of Shaban. I looked into the ancient manuscripts of my ancestor Shaykh Abdul Qadir Gilani, who physically appeared 800 years ago in Baghdad. As I was saying, that I looked into and found a dua called Nisf Shaban. Dua is beautiful. As a matter of fact, it is not a topic here. But with that dua is a humble servant of Allah seek Allah's forgiveness. And he says, Ya Allah, if you have written me in the book of destiny as one destined for hell, Jahannam, then you have said in Holy Quran that you can delete anything you may like and you can write anything you may like. So Allah, for the greatest tajalli, your manifestation of the nur for this night, Ya Allah, make me fortunate, worthy of Jannah, paradise. And this is a dua which is made and recited. So this dua was faxed from Islamabad of India, and when it was being received in South Carolina, Allah's personal name, Allah, appeared on right side, and Holy Messenger's personal name, Muhammad, appeared on left side, and in between there was a rainbow. People were simply shocked and they were overcome with awe and they didn't know what to do. For 15 minutes they were running around everything, and then eventually they brought cameras. The moment they would bring the camera, they would go, vanish. Rainbows had always been with me from the very beginning. Even you will notice this here, this card, After that, this place was declared holy shrine dedicated to Almighty One God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and His beloved Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It became one of the holiest shrine and place in the world. Then every month of fasting for 30 days, Allah's lights of noors would fall and His names and rainbow after rainbow would appear. One lady, Miss Joan, obviously Christian, she came with her husband who was suffering from cancer, whom they had given 6 months to live, to expose the fraud which we thought we were doing it with the lasers. But eventually, she herself saw the name of Allah shining before her. She was overpowered, and then you will see how she shows that she embroidered a red cloth. She shows with her hand, and then later, the following day, her husband goes to the hospital for a checkup. His cancer was gone.
My name is June Najjar, Muhammad's wife.
मेरा नाम जून है.
The last part of February, we went to take him to the hospital because he was hurting real bad in his
ये
stomach.
बता रही है कि फरवरी में
And the doctor sent in a lab technician to do some blood work, and he did the wrong blood test and found out that he had something abnormal in his blood. So they sent him to have a CAT scan done and came back and told me and my husband that we need to contact our children, that he had cancer and only had maybe 3 months, 3 to 6 months left to live. And we came home from the hospital and called all my children and told them, and then I think it was a Saturday that we went down to the shrine and
22 February.
and then we went down there and they showed us, showed us around, and we looked at the different rooms and things, and
बता रही है
that
कि
was
मैं
on
खाने का
Saturday, and then that Monday he had to go have surgery done. So we went to the hospital. They had taken him in there and did surgery. They cut him about 22 inches down his stomach and basically told us that they were going in there to look for leukemia cancer, and if it was that they probably had a year left. If not, it would be 3 to 6 months, and they would teach him how to live comfortable for those last 6 months. And then when they went in and took out 3 things that were big as walnuts, and they tested them and said that from the initial test it did not look like cancer. And then they put him in a recovery room. That late afternoon the pathologist came back and told us that 100% sure that it was not cancer. But initially they said it was a 99.9% that it was from what they saw. And I was amazed. We came up into a hallway, we was getting ready to go out, and on the wall, it looked like, at first it was like, I had to look at it a couple times because I'm thinking, they're telling me about all these things that people had saw in there, and I'm like, these people are crazy. I was thinking in my head, I said, they're just trying to do all of this to get people to come and look at this place, thinking it's some kind of special place and seeing things. They're just crazy, off the wall, lunatic people, And then when I went into the hallway, I was looking at the wall, and it had like a white line coming down, and then olive, like in a rainbow color at the end part of it. And made this here. That's what I saw. I might have it upside down. That's what I saw. Right there. And I put my hand up against the wall to see if it was a shadow or a light coming from somewhere else. And then she must have thought I was stupid because I kept looking around to see if there was a light or a reflection of a picture, just anything that was abnormal that looked out of place that would put the reflection on the wall. And I put my hand up to it, and there was nothing there. It wasn't on my hand, like, you like now you can see the light, you can see light on my hand, but you couldn't see anything. But it was on the wall, but it really wasn't on the wall. And it was really odd, that it was there.
After after that, every year, in the month of fasting Ramadan, up till today, this thing appears. Now, how you can solve this mystery? Only a psychiatrist said, the people say, see what they believe in. Well, that Miss Jones didn't become Muslim because she had some reservations. But 5 miles away from her, in her home, in her bedroom, Allah's name started shining. Then she became Muslim. Now, I have brought a very good, very nice social and cultural evolution in America. Thousands and thousands and thousands of youngsters have been reformed. They live very peacefully in their 22 towns and they are not being bothered. I must give credit to the American government. The authorities, they are not being bothered. They live in quite close harmony. But they are bothered by the Zionist media every now and then. When I said when 9/11 incident happened, the first thing which George Bush was made to say by the Illuminati, made him to say, crusade. We are now declared crusades. Well, what funny thing I said before. You haven't found any evidence who did it up till today. You want people to believe the cock and bull story? Even George Bush didn't know. When it happened was they passed a baby, they put a baby on his doorstep. I mean, people laugh. How building number 7 collapsed? Just like this, like a demolition. All the structural engineers say this is the job of the inciting bombing. The bombs were placed inside. Sheikh Khalid Muhammad, how he was able to suspend the air defense system? Nobody believes these things. But these things are, American people suffer because of that. Now, thing is, Muslims and Christians must join hands.
As Sheikh Gilani points out, Muslims and Christians are two aspects of the same reality. This is why the Illuminati manufacture terror in order to incite one side against the other. The Satanists know that with the unification of Muslims and Christians, their plan for world domination under Satan will be destroyed.
We Muslims and Christians are in reality two aspects of one and the same reality. In Holy Quran it is written that after you, the only people whom you file very friendly towards you, they are Nusara. Nusara means Nazareth, the follower of Jesus, son of Mary. It's in the Quran.
Hello, my name is Layla Clark and I'm here in Pakistan reporting from the Islamic Post and the Islamic Cable Network of Islamabad, New York. Today I have here with me Sayyid Ali Muhyiddin Shah Gilani, son of El Sheikh Sayyid Muhyiddin Mubarak Ali Shah Gilani. I would like the world to know what has happened to you and your school, Rainbow Academy for Children. Since you were the principal and your wife, I would like to know why you were victimized and arrested by the police for the Daniel Pearl case.
Assalamu alaikum. First of all, I would like to say why I was victimized. I don't know, because the thing that happened was I was in the school, in my school, as a principal. I was there. It was on the 27th of January 2002. We were about to have our lunch. Suddenly, some 12 to 13 guys came in, running in the school, and just shouting at us and saying all kind of nasty words. And they came running to us and grabbed hold of each and every staff member of mine at that time, and just separating all of us at the very same time. They took all of us like to different corners and started asking us, "Where is Daniel Pearl? Where did you hide him?" I said, "Daniel Pearl who?" So the in charge of the investigation was Raja Saklan. He took me to the police station and the other staff members as well. And over there he took me to a separate place and started an investigation about where is Daniel Pearl, where's Shah, where's your father. I said, "I don't know where Shah Sahib is." He said, "Stop lying, give me the address where your father is, otherwise you're going to be going through a very, just you can say, third degree tortures." I said, "I don't know where he is. I'm working in my school. I don't know where my father is right now." After that he took me to some other place, I don't know where, but because what they did to me was they just put a blindfold, handcuffed me from the back, and they took me to different places. And they kept on asking me, "Where's your father? Where's your father?"
Did they torture you?
Gee, they took me after to some place, I don't know, because I couldn't see anything. They had covered my face. First of all, what they did was they bring some long bamboos and started hitting on my head, on my back, and on my knees. After that, they came to me and then they said, "Where is your father? Is he in Aptabad? Is he here? Is he there?" Then they took me to Aptabad. Oh, in the car, they started punching me. Then they took, what do you call this? They just took my fingers, put the, what do you call those, screwdriver in it, and then they started pressing it. And I don't know, but then again.
Did they harass your family?
Hanji.
In what way did they harass your family?
They just, threatened my family not to come after him, and not, because at first nobody could find me where I was and where the local, the agency, all the other people, where they were hiding me, and I just couldn't know who to look for, what to do, and they nearly starved me there for I think 12 to 13 days. Asking for food, and they said that we don't have anything to give it to you. After that, they took me to a place for 3 to 4 days where they tortured me. It was a small room and it was like I think 6 feet long and I think 4 feet wide, where I was supposed to use the washroom and sit over there and do everything. And after that
They did this every day?
yeah, until I was supposed to give the address of Shah Sahib. I kept on saying I don't know where Shah Sahib is until there was a time that they warned me that today on the Wednesday, this is Wednesday, up till 4 o'clock you have the time. After that we will not be responsible for you. We will put you on the plane to Cuba, then you will live there for your whole life. I said, I don't know where Shah Sahib is. He said, you are lying, you are doing this, you are covering your... I said, why should I cover him up? I really don't know where he is. Then they mentioned all the locations which they knew Shah Sahab had been residing. They said, we'll go there, I'll take you there, I'll take you there. I said, take me wherever you want, but I don't know where he is. The investigation police officer Raja Saklan is known in Rawalpindi for torture, and he's known for his,
Have you ever heard of the name Daniel Pearl prior to this incident?
No, I've never.
Has this incident affected your life in any way?
In business-wise, yes. My school, I was running a very good school in Scheme 3, Chaklala, Rawalpindi. It gave a really bad impression to the school, to the parents, and to the neighbors living, next to the school. They started calling me by different names. You are a terrorist, you are this, you are that. How can you teach our kids, our children, when you yourself have such a bad reputation? I went all to, finally I had to sell off the school. We had a very good farm in somewhere near Islamabad. We had to sell that off, and we have to go through so many difficulties just because of what they thought it was, and it wasn't, just because they think in this way, or they had the idea that we were involved, and they messed up each and everything of us, the school, my reputation, and the way they tortured, to the extent that they started beating me like nothing. They used to change me, like, hang upside down and beat with, but that's the way. But nevertheless, it went by. Everything was,
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. You have just seen what happened to my son, Sayyid Ali Muhyiddin Gilani, Sajjad Nasheed Darbar, Mian Mir Sharif, who was the principal of a very famous Rainbow Academy of Children in Rawalpindi, Islamabad. It was attacked, and after that he could not continue and had to be abandoned, causing millions of loss. Then one woman, Farah Stockman, who said that she was a correspondent from the Boston Globe, she came to our house in Lahore, and she wanted to see me. I said, I cannot see you because I'm attending my father, who's seriously ill. And my father was one of the members of that meeting which passed a Pakistan resolution in 1940 at Lahore. He was a student then, and he was member of organizing committee. He was very famous, founding father, but kept quiet. I begged her to please go away. Eventually, she left, but then the following day she came and left a paper. Or she wrote to her father that I was Sheikh of Richard Reed, the shoe bomber, and who's Al-Qaeda man, and this one so. When my father read that letter, and strangely, that woman went from door to door in Islamabad and Lahore, showing people. And people told her, look here, Richard Reed is now arrested and being investigated. So wait, the FBI will find out. No. She had been given a verdict before the authorities find the truth. Later on, he himself said, as a matter of fact, he was a plant, but he said he did it alone. And it is not easy to see me. Even now, right now, you might think, no, I'm sitting my Himalayan Zawiya, because Sufi Lodge. From here, maybe next week I'll move somewhere else. I keep on moving and I don't see. For the last 25 years, nobody can come and see me directly. Sometimes people have to wait for months, but I don't see many people. In 1 year, I might see 4 or 5 people, and there's no way anybody can walk in, and I see him. Why should I? I work very hard. So that woman, when my father read that, he was already suffering from, and within 2 days he died. It was shock. We told her, she was in Islamabad, and she said, I'm very sorry, and then she admitted to one person there that they told her that you were part of the conspiracy, that he said, why I was being used. Then he said, there's another person coming from Bombay, and that was Daniel Pearl. I didn't know him, I never met him, never heard about him. As I said, we showed you this Islamic Post. I'm the chief editor of the newspaper for the last 20 years. Why should I mind any journalist coming to me? He was not a journalist at all. He was an Israeli spy spying on the people, on finding out what Pakistan is supporting Taliban or Mujahideen, or with their. He was man there to pick out where they could eventually later on assassinate them. It was joint project of a RAW and Mossad. So there's no end to lies. There's no end to lies. How can unending lies and falsehood. It started 2,000 years ago. It has not finished. How can I finish? But I have to clarify my position of the International Quran Open University at Islamabad, and American other Muslim and Pakistani Muslim who do not hate the Pakistani Muslim, don't hate American people. They have no evil designs. They like to go and work there and be with them. They like. But it is the Illuminati, the Freemason, the Zionist global, order which has done all that. By now you know everything. So this is within 1 week. This is almost 23rd, 24th June of 07. 10 days before that, first the Fox News people, they go to Islamabad, our university headquarters. Then Islamic New York Post writes a story. Then Hollywood makes a film. All that close up on our university and people. This is part of the campaign, in which their master, they say, by way of deception, thou shalt do the war. This is there. Now, you see, this is a receipt when the Fox people went there, and this is the printout. They call it Islamabad, the International Quranic University headquarters, a terror compound. And they call me that I'm a word, all word over I'm terrorist. Okay, first of all, I must, you by now you must have heard this Islamabad, from this Islamabad, the second day after 9/11, I telephoned that the scouts should go and help in the relief operation. More than 200, or maybe more or less, they rushed to the spot. We have shown you clips with that. They went there from a so-called terror compound, which the world's most leading terrorist liar, which the world has ever seen, the Fox News people. American people know about it. I have the videos against them, how they twist the facts, how they, churn the lies and false accusation. They are the one who again and again said Iraq has weapons of mass destruction. There is that man who wrote, by way of deception, the book, he himself wrote, we have quoted, that Israelis had planned to attack Iraq and use America. So Fox kept on knowing well the United Nations people have cleared Iraq of any weapons of mass destruction, but they kept on, over and over, till they saw to it that the Americans are pushed into the war. Not they went on their own, they were pushed into the war. the way they were pushed to the Second World War. I have to defend Islam, Muslims at large, and our university, which is serving American Muslims for the last 20 years. I told you, from Islamabad, the terror compound, people rush to New Orleans when Allah's wrath struck New Orleans. You see this here. See this? They worked there. They built homes, fed people. Of course, they made soup and some bread. But to rush our hand-to-hand organization, which was run by Miss Shireen and Tahira and Atiya and all those people and other men, they work day and night. This is what they're doing in New Orleans. From terror compound, as the world's most leading terrorist. The terrorist compound is Tel Aviv, from where they send terrorists all over the world, assassinates, people whom they think that in future these people will be, causing problem to their, global world order. From this Islamabad, people go to World Trade Center. They go to New York last year, I believe, when it was upstate was flooded. People were desperate, they were sitting on the rooftops. And then, our people go there. Incidentally, all our homes which were carrying a flag with the names of 5, the Holy Last Messenger, Sallallahu Ali, as Fatima, as Imam Hussain, those flags with special dua. None of the house was damaged. This is the report, and incidentally, he mentioned the service rendered by the residents of Islamabad during the flood. It is mentioned, but there is no harm. That is July 6th, 2006. In the wake of devastation brought on by a gentle rain, the rain that started on a Sunday afternoon in June, the village of Islamabad stood strong by the mercy and kindness of Allah. We flew our Fatima flags as we heard the water roaring and rising around us. We could only imagine the damage being done since the roads were closed and other towns were under curfew. Many days later, we were given the opportunity to see for ourselves what the residents of Binghamton, Conklin, Susquehanna, Hancock, and Deposit were suffering through. So on Tuesday, July 4th, when Mrs. Abdul Khabir of Islamabad called the fire department town of Deposit to see if our village could be of any assistance, the deposit worker responded in the affirmative. As much manpower as you have, all can give. Mrs. Abdul Khabir wasted no time in sending out the word to the mayor of Islamabad, the deputy director of the Muslim Boys and Scouts, and the staff of International Quranic Open University, and the community at large. Car roads, the villagers dropped what they were doing and drove to join the effort to bring relief to their neighbors and the exhausted Red Cross workers. There was positive interaction between the Muslim and other fellow Americans on Independence Day. One of my favorite stories is the marvel of the teenage girl from both villages who met each other for the first time. We do not know you existed. The girl shared song and laughter, the spirit of helping and giving. Deposit his home to Dr. Gionon, who has delivered many of our sons. Mrs. Khabir said on Tuesday, those same sons, now young adults, delivered support to Dr. G, as he is fondly called. The Deposit townspeople rejoiced at the coming of the Muslim community. They exclaimed, guys, you guys are angels. You guys are angels. The Fox call Islamabad terror compound, the neighbors of and all the villagers, they say, it is a compound of angels. One of the local preachers said she was going to make a special prayer, "Oh Allah, oh God of love." So this is, she was right. Allah Ta'ala is Lord of love, and we are His, humble servants and lovers. Thank you, Allah, for sending us the gift of love. Our Abu, His Eminence Al-Sheikh Gilani, whom we lovingly refer to us as our father. He instructed us to wave the flag in time of distress for its protective properties. Now, Dr. G wants one of the flags as well. So, who is right? All the thousands of people? Or these terrorists, abusing, belong to one of the 7 M's, which, Colonel Saab already said, that the Zionist controls 7 M's. From Islamabad, yeah, the entire compound. People go to Pakistan when the earthquake struck. See this? From Islamabad and from Virginia and from other places, striving for humanity, all the American Muslims, all these American Muslims. Here's a Dr. Bashir, here's a Dr. Qasim, here are the, qualified helpers, nurses, that is maybe Balqis and Aisha, and here they are standing before Ayub Medical Complex Hospital, Abbottabad. These. They are tending to the children. Here the burnt, 200 children got burned. The surgeon from California, and Dr. Almaz Sheikh, she came, she flew. So this is what the American Muslims are doing. They are not terrorists. Terrorists are in Tel Aviv. Terrorists are in Fox News. Terrorists are the other newspapers with churning lies, and they are using the American might and power and money, and this, and just to. This is my almost 30th year. I reformed thousands and thousands of people, children and young men, made them better citizens who commit no crime anymore. Sometime in a year, 1 or 2 people go wrong, but yesterday, my country was raided and bombed. They bombed the madrasas, and yesterday, and 5 days, which resulted in killing of children and women. What is this law? According to what law? Is it in Torah? The Jews? Is it a Christian law? Is it a human law? Is it a Geneva Convention? If this is not act of terrorism, what is the terrorism? Look, they killed our children, and we, reform American youth, American people. We don't kill them. Look here, even our hands are tight. We follow law of Allah. No Muslim has authority to change of law. Law says you cannot kill children, women, old people, priests, unarmed people, weak. You cannot kill. Only state has authorized to declare jihad if it's possible. No individual can take law in his hand. These are the people celebrating the birthday of the Holy Last Messenger. This is what I done. They're so humble, so pious. Look at their faces. You won't find innocent people like them. These are the people how can you call them terrorists? Tell me, are these terrorists or you are the terrorist to a terrorist maker? Is this, I have reformed. Given my life for 30 years. Educated them. Otherwise they would have been Salafis, they would be extremist Wahhabis, and they would have been suicide bombers and real terrorists, and the map of the United States would have been different. The thing is, It is not the American people. It is those who control America, who have enslaved the American people. You know, they want to crush Islam from America as well because they're afraid that Muslim will pose them threat. Tell me, are these terrorists? There's no end. I can't waste. I've already taken too much time in clearing, but in defining once for all and helping you to find out the real terrorist. Who is terrorist? Who are the people who are spreading terrorism all over the world, who are sponsoring terrorism? You be the judge. You be the judge. The result, you can conclude. I would let you conclude and see, find out the facts. But this is not the way. If they think that they will succeed by that, Wallah billah, I swear by the honor of Almighty Allah, the Creator, He has started His, process of taking revenge from them already. He's not going to spare them. It won't take decades. It won't take decades. I swear by His honor, all the blood of the innocent children and women and people, it will turn back into burning cinders and rocks and stones and wrath of which will kill all those who had killed them, murdered them. This is law of Allah. It's the law of Allah. Nobody can change it. Neither the early Roman, the Alexander, the Caesars, the Persian emperors, globalist, Nimrod, Pharaoh, Hitler, Napoleon, none of them could survive as globalists. The empires vanished. You do not hear anymore. Islam, look here, all those you are doing it, all those TV network people, Allah sent me with signs. He sent me with power and authority to the United States of America, and He showed miracles after miracles, and people saw it, and they are seeing it right now. I'm not talking about the past. I request American people and the Christian Muslim join hands together and save themselves and save their country. Otherwise, Allah's wrath will fall in such a way that nobody will be saved. I have done my duty and I don't care. No, if I suffer more attacks of assassinations. Already, I have suffered attacks of assassination. I'm afraid to. Mouth, we don't call death. First, mouth is transferred from this world to the world. Mouth is afraid of me. I'm not afraid of mouth.